When I talk about 360-degree youth development approach for the Boys and Girls Club, it's pretty simple. There's three parts of it. The first part is prevention. We look to really help our youth prepare to handle some of the challenges they're facing in their lives and today. And what we do in the second part is intervention. We have programs like Teen Court that are helping kids really get on track with some of their unproductive or risky behaviors. But on the other hand, we got kids with barriers and so on that we're helping out by serving meals every day and even our training teens for tomorrow. We just recently been launched this about a year now, the Training Teens for Tomorrow, and you saw the video of it. And so whenever we have one of the teenagers whose background, maybe due to their criminal record, really can't be in the club, but still wants to participate because they want a new opportunity to move forward in life, they actually come to work for me in their apprenticeship, and I mentor them once a week. They'll come in my office, and we basically talk about life, how they're doing in the program, and step by step. So I had this one young man, his name was Luis, and he's a tall young man. And he came in, and when I first met him, he had, I don't know if you've seen some of the teens, they're wearing these cat eyes as the contact lenses. And it's kind of weird when I saw it. And he came in, and we talked about what he wanted to do in life. He says, I want to be running a nightclub, and the dancing and all that. I'm interested in that. So I wasn't going to steal his dream or head him into the different direction right off the bat. And I figured, well, we'll just kind of work together and see what comes out of it. So at one session, he came in the office, and I showed him this Iron Man video. It's a great video about a father-son, the Rick and Dickie Hoyt story that is pretty inspirational. So he watched it for 20 minutes. And at the end of it, I said, what'd you get out of it? And he said all the right things about, hey, maybe I could do something in life where I'm helping people, and maybe I should do more of this or that, and so on. And I thought, oh, that's fantastic. You really got the message. So we were only 20 minutes into our session that we usually meet with each other. And I said, you know what, Luis, you got the point. I said, that's great. You know what? We're done for today. And I always thought when I first met him that, when he comes to meet me, that until we build a relationship, that he may not appreciate the time we're together like I appreciate it. And I always thought maybe he just wants to get out of here as soon as possible when it comes to our mentor sessions. And so when I said, okay, you're done, 20 minutes, hey, you get out 40 minutes early. Good for you. Have fun. I'll see you next Wednesday. And he sat there and he looked at me puzzled, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And he just got quiet and looked at me. And so then I kind of put two and two together. I said, unless you want to just stay here and talk for a while. And he said, can we? And I said, yeah. So he got off the chair, sat on the couch. He said, Mr. Sinatra, what do you want to talk about? And we sat there for 40 minutes and talked. And it's amazing how, as hardcore and some of the challenges of his background, he just wanted a mentor, someone who cared about him, who wanted to talk to him and spend that time with him. And he's doing phenomenal. We're working right now to get him into Chemeketa College. He's on track with everything he's trying to do and turning his life around. So when we talk about intervention, we go to the deepest part of what's going on with our kids in our community, and we'll do whatever it takes to get them back online. But the final part, which is really the most of what we do at the Boys and Girls Club, is what I call positive youth development, where we spend our time helping youth fulfill their full potential. That's what I call it. And what we do by that is basically we're helping them build skills and competencies because we think that's important. Like for the Journey to Music Band, it's about learning to read and write and play music. We're building robots for them to put in competitions and also helping youth daily with their academics, put it on a track to graduate high school, and then look towards college beyond that. But most important is we put this platform for them, that they're not going to fall. They always say, watch out, the kids may fall through the cracks. Well, we build our kids up so they can't fall through the cracks. They're too big to fall through the cracks. How do we do that? We're connecting youth with mentors and role models, as I discussed. We're encouraging parents to stay engaged. The most important thing you can do with your kids is really ask them how things are going. What are they doing? What are they up to? What's challenging them in their life? We encourage parents to do that. We provide structured time, 4 to 6 hours every day after school, 9.5 hours during the summertime. And we also help kids learn about planning for their future, for their social life, and also planning to learn how to problem solve, because many of our kids always have these issues that seem to send them in the wrong direction. But for us, positive youth development is about empowering youth to learn about building competencies and skills so that they can be successful. And the more resources you put into positive youth development, the less you have to put into intervention and prevention. We see it at the club all the time. So how do we go about helping a youth fulfill their full potential? Especially today when so many things are changing. Everything, I mean, read the newspapers, look at just technology, everything that's happening to our youth. Think about it. Nobody Googled anything 13 years ago. Nobody had an iPod 9 years ago, and nobody had an iPhone 5 years ago, and nobody was on Facebook liking anything 7 years ago. Our concept on youth development is simple. It's a philosophy of mastery. And I want to share you a story about what happened to me when I was in 12th grade. I was a D student. I mean, total D's. The only A I got was in PE. And today I have an MBA and I have a degree in sociology, but it all was changed because of this philosophy of mastery that was taught to me by an economics teacher. And I remember going into her class, and she said to us, she said, listen, everybody has an A. And I thought the only way I'm going to get an A, and I don't know how, is, I don't know, I just don't even know how I could get an A, even if I had a weapon to say, write an A at the end of the semester just so I can get it. That's the only way I thought, because I wasn't smart enough. And her philosophy was this. She said, if you take a test in my class and you get a C on that test, well, yeah, you passed, but what happened to the B level and the A level information? You go through life missing the B level and A level information. For her, it was unacceptable. She wasn't interested in that. So what she would do is if I got a D or a C, she would say, Mr. Sinatra, come over here. I want you to go back and study this, study that. Look over this, and then come back, and she'd reward some questions, should maybe have some essay questions here and there, and I would take another test on those concepts until I got an A. And I had to work. I had to keep going back studying, and eventually we would get an A. So that's what she did with all of us. The next thing she did was she made it fun, and she engaged us. Whenever we would have a test, we would go out and play baseball without the equipment, but with questions she would send us. And if you got it right, you got the first base, and it was a lot of fun. She made learning fun. But even more so, when somebody wasn't there in class, I remember a kid missed 2 days of class, and she wrote these 7 digits on the board behind her. And she said, behind me are 7 digits. She says, I'm not sure what they mean or what they go to, but if you look around here, there's somebody that has been missing for 2 days. And if that person isn't here tomorrow, everybody goes from an A to a B. So you know that was the phone number of the person who was missing. Now, today she would be fired for that. Personal information, you're not allowed, you'd be fired. She probably would have been fired back then. It was back in 1988. And so imagine with 25 of us making phone calls to that one person. You had the good kids in class, hey, do you need a ride? Are you feeling sick? Do you need some cold medication? To someone like me saying, if you don't get there, I'm going to kick your butt. Because I've never got an A in anything outside of PE and economics. I still don't know what it means, but hey, it sounds big. Maybe it'll help me with my future. And so, yeah, that kid showed up. But what she did was she made us responsible for the whole. She made us a community and said nobody's being left behind, and we're going to catch it right when we see something start to fail. That's what we're doing at the Boys and Girls Club. It's about mastery. We're not, last year, if you noticed, we had the band and they were just playing background music. They didn't master it yet. Same kids, they mastered it. They got prime time, and they're excited about it. We said, keep working, it's going to happen. You're going to get there. And they were upset after last year, if you went to our 40th, those like 6, 7 kids, they wanted to beat me up in the hallway because they wanted prime time. And I said, not yet. When you master it, you'll go up there and watch what happens from that. And so we do that. Now, if you read Malcolm Gladwell and you read Outliers, he talks about a concept of the 10,000-hour rule. And basically, he says, do you believe that there's such thing as innate talent, that you're born with it? It's natural. And from the research that they've studied, there's not. But there's this 10,000-hour concept that he talks about. And he says, if you look in any field that the professionals, the best violinists, or the best in their fields, and you study what they did from when they were a young child all the way up to where they're the elite now as far as in their field, what has happened is they spent about 10,000 hours, and when they hit that mark, suddenly they became the best. And his theory was that mastery can be achieved with preparation and persistence. You got to keep doing it. And that's what we're doing at the club. And he said what's funny is that when they did all their studies, they didn't find any naturals. Even the ones you'll see, the Einsteins and so on, they didn't find any naturals. Now, they were pretty strong at what they were starting at, but when you look at the time these people applied day in and day out to what they were doing, there was a 10,000-hour concept. And he said the other thing was they didn't find any grinds, G-R-I-N-D. And he said that was people who put in 10,000 hours but didn't achieve mastery. He said they didn't find that. Anyone who put into 10,000 hours got to mastery. So when you think about Boys and Girls Club, we have 1,800 hours that we serve kids every year. 1,800 hours, do the math, 9, 10 years, 11 years, so on. We can have masters. These kids come into the club every day. When we can give them the talent of what they want, the potential, whether it's in academics or technology or music and arts and all the great things that are out there, but they need a platform to succeed. And if we can give them the right platform, then we don't need the intervention and the prevention where all that money is being wasted because they're focused on something positive. But the only way we're able to do that, the only way we're able to allow these kids, the young lady who was up here playing, just started playing guitar 3 weeks ago, and she sounds phenomenal. It's amazing what's happening when these kids have the opportunity, the platform, the springboard to move forward. So I just want to say today, you could have been anywhere today, and I'm sure the schedules are very busy, but you chose to come here because you believed in the platform that's needed for our youth, despite the economy and what's going on. So we appreciate you coming today, and we thank you for caring about the kids who need us most. Thank you.